Hi friends, how are you? Today I am going to present a part of Ramanand Sagar's life. Ramanand Sagar, the legend who brought Ramayana on television in 1987 and who created a kind of revolution, TV revolution in India. Ramayana became such a popular TV serial. Now, when did he get this idea that he should bring Ramayana on TV? Actually, he was shooting a film Cheras, a super hit film. He was shooting this film in French Alps. And for the first time in 1975, he saw a color television. He saw some programs there and he realized the potentiality of television. He thought that future belonged to television. And at that time, he decided that he would bring Ramayana on TV. So this was a great idea and it worked. But who was this Ramanand Sagar? Where was he born? Who were his parents? What kind of childhood did he have? Do we not need to know these things? Who was Ramanand Sagar? I tell you. 29th December 1917. 29th December 1917. The place was Asal Guru Ke, 40 kilometers from Lahore. It has been raining for the last 2 days. A storm was brewing outside. A child was born in the household of Ralia Ram Bedi. Ralia Ram Bedi was Ramanand Sagar's maternal grandfather. A child was born. And when the child was born, he did not cry, he did not open his eyes. Ralia Ram Bedi and his son Lala Niranjan Das thought that the child was stillborn. Child was born dead. But the midwife showed a lot of common sense. She took the child in her arms and placed him above the fireplace. Child opened his eyes and started crying. Child's mother, Isa Devi Chopra, 14-year-old, heaved a sigh of relief amid tears. Ralia Ram was overjoyed. He thought that it was a miracle of Lord Shiva. So he named him Chandramouli. Who is called Chandramouli? Lord Shiva is called Chandramouli, the one who holds moon, crescent moon on his forehead. So he was called Chandramouli. The same boy, same child was later on going to be Ramanand Sagar that we know. Ramanand Sagar. The man who was going to redefine the film industry and television viewing decades later. Now, I would like to tell you about the parents of Ramanand Sagar. Ramanand Sagar was born at the place of his maternal grandfather, Ralia Ram Bedi. Okay. Ramanand Sagar's mother's name was Isa Devi Chopra and his father's name was Lala Dinanath Chopra. Isa Devi Chopra belonged to Lahore, Asal Guru Ke, 40 kilometers from Lahore, and Lala Dinanath Chopra belonged to Srinagar, a very prosperous family. And when Ramanand Sagar was born to her, she was only 14-year-old and her husband Dinanath Chopra, Ramanand's father, was 16-year-old. In this way, Ramanand Sagar was born. This was the birth of Ramanand Sagar. But there were more dramas to be played in his life. Ramanand Sagar's maternal grandfather, Ralia Ram Bedi, had 2 marriages. From his first wife, he had 2 children, Vidya Devi Chopra, who later on became Isa Devi Chopra, Ramanand's mother, and a son, Lala Niranjan Das. His first wife died, he married again. His second wife's name was Bhagavati, popularly known as Bhagosahi. Bhagosahi was a childless woman. She was a childless woman. So she was desperate and despondent. She developed some severe psychological problems. She had become so bitter that she would vent out her frustrations on the innocent children in the neighborhood. And her stepson-in-law, I mean Ramanand's father, Lala Dinanath Chopra, pitied her deteriorating condition, pitied her bad condition, because psychologically she was not sound, because she always thought that she did not have a child of her own. So he wanted to solve her problem. He reached an agreement with his father-in-law, Ralia Ram Bedi, that when the child was born to Isa Devi, the child would be transferred to Bhago Shahi, I mean the stepmother of Isa Devi. This was decided, and Isa Devi was not informed. It was a secret agreement reached between child's maternal grandfather and child's father. A 16-year-old reckless boy, I mean Lala Dinanath Chopra, decided that he would give away his first child to his stepmother-in-law, Bhago Shahi, second wife of Ralia Ram Bedi. And from now on, the seeds of Ramanand's future were sown. And he was to have a very tumultuous, turbulent and treacherous life, full of struggle and sacrifices. As soon as Dinanath Chopra got the news that a son was born to him, he went down to Lahore and forced his wife Isa Devi to give away her child to Bhago Shahi, I mean to her stepmother. First, the Namkaran Sanskar was performed and the child's new name was Ramanand. He was to be Ramanand Sagar, the legend who created revolution on television by bringing Ramayana on TV. So, he was given over to Bhago Shahi. But Ramanand's life was written with tears. His life had been written with tears. Isa Devi could never recover from this shock. She was forced to give away her first child to her stepmother. And she became silent. It was a proverbial silence before the storm. The silence which was going to wreak havoc in her life and Ramanand's life. At the age of 25, she died. And new parents that Ramanand had found, they were not worthy of him. Bhago Shahi's behavior with Ramanand was very, very bad, very cruel, and his childhood was torturous, treacherous, without any happiness. Because of this life that he got in his early childhood, Ramanand's writings were affected by this. You know, Ramanand was a great novelist, story writer, journalist, whatnot, poet. His writings were affected by this childhood experience. And he always missed his mother. He tried to redefine this secret and divine relationship between the child and the mother. So, this is how Ramanand's childhood started. But he was destined to bring Ramayana on television. Ramanand became an extraordinary person later on in his life. But point is here, the important point is here, कि what kind of life was prevailing then. A woman did not have any right on her own child. She would be forced by her husband and father to give away her child to another woman who was childless because of the joint family system. It was thought that happiness should be distributed evenly among the members of the family. But life had decided otherwise. Nobody was happy out of this arrangement. Bhago Shahi did not change, and Isa Devi Chopra, Ramanand's own mother, died at the age of 25. And not only that, a fraud was played on Ramanand. Before his birth, it was decided that Ramanand should never know who his real mother was. Ramanand should never know who his real father was. So Isa Devi was to become his sister-in-law, Bhavi. And his father, Lala Dinanath Chopra, was to become his elder brother, whom he called Bhaiji, later on Payaji. But truth is always known. You can't hide truth long. So this was the early life story of the legend Ramanand Sagar, the man who brought happiness and entertainment in our life, had such a torturous, tumultuous, painful childhood. Okay, so many of us were not aware of this part of Ramanand's life. Dear friends, the people who do so much for us sometimes are unknown to us. A part of their life is under the shadow. Now I am shedding light on the early life of Ramanand Sagar. I am sure you have understood who the Ramanand Sagar was, where was he born, and who were his parents, and how, even before his birth, his future had been decided. Thank you. Have a nice day.